Good morning, everyone. My name is IBRAHIM, and this is my PSM2 presentation. So the title of my PSM2 is Invigilator Appointment based on Exam Center for Public Examination Invigilator Assignment System, EIA. So my name is IBRAHIM, and my supervisor is Dr. NORAINI, BINTI IBRAHIM. So this is the outline of my presentation. So we'll go first go to the introduction, then we go to summary of literature review, followed by a summary of system development methodology. Next, we'll go to summary of requirement analysis and design, and followed by summary of system implementation and testing, and by the conclusion of the project. Introduction. So the project background. So there are in total of 46 types of public exams in Malaysia. So for each exam, each school need to prepare school as exam center and propose teachers as invigilators for the public examination in other schools. So Jabatan Negeri Pendidikan Johor introduced the system lantikan petugas peperiksaan for each school, which is an invigilator appointment system. But there's some problem with the SLAP, the system lantikan petugas peperiksaan. So first, the invigilator appointment process requires a lot of paperwork. So tons of the documents that needed to be produced by the authorities from the PPT and printed by the school and also the teachers, which is really time-consuming, space-consuming, and also not eco-friendly. So the other side, besides, the SLAP is an standalone system. So the system can only be used when it is installed on the computer, which cannot be accessed using a website. Third, the exam secretary need to manually export the approved data by the school principal and send to the Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah manually, and it's not an automated process. So the project ends. The first project aim is to develop the invigilator appointment based on exam center module, which allows the authorities from the school to appoint teachers as the invigilators effectively and accurately. Second, all of the specifications and requirements of this module are elicited from the stakeholders of the system, which are the representative from the Pejabat Pendidikan Johor Bahru and Kelang. So these modules allows the authorities of the school to speed up the invigilator appointment process by providing a more automated and involving the school teacher as the user of the system. The project objective. So the first project objective is to elicit and collect requirements through the meeting with the stakeholders from the PPT Johor Bahru and PPT Kelang and analyze the elicited requirements to produce the software requirement specifications. Second, to design the appropriate system architecture, database, and interesting user interface documented in the software design documents. Third, to develop the proposed system according to the documentation. Fourth, to plan and test the proposed system to ensure the system fulfills the requirements. So this is a project scope. The scope of this module is limited to the exam invigilators appointment for the Malaysia public exam from the schools in Johor State only. So the system will be used mainly by the authorities from the exam center of each school, which are the exam secretary, school principal, school teacher, and also admin. Summary of literature review. So according to the case study, so there are a total of 46 public examinations in Malaysia, and every public examination required teachers as the exam invigilators for each registered exam center. So the government has assigned a role responsible to assign teachers as invigilators for public examinations, which is the exam secretary. So the exam secretaries are also the teachers from the school. So when the exam is around the corner, they have to multitask on preparing students to sit the public exam and selecting the teachers from the school as the exam invigilators for the other exams. So the current system to select and assign teachers as invigilators is not efficient enough. The process of appointment invigilators required of a lot of manual operations. So after doing the survey on the existing system and also the current system, the weakness and the strengths of each system are analyzed and deployed into invigilator appointment based on exam center module as its unique functionality to meet the needs of the stakeholder. So this is the table that summarizes the strength and the weakness of each existing system and also the current system's lab. So after that, the technology decided to use is the Visual Studio Code, the React.js, Node.js, Express.js, and MongoDB to develop the invigilator appointment based on exam center module. Summary of system development methodology. So develop methodology. So the methodology selected is Agile Waterfall Hybrid. So it is a combination of Agile practice and the waterfall method. So this method is suitable for the product, which is a piece of software which involve front-end and back-end technology. So the advantages of this hybrid method are shortened as the design, analysis and planning, and maintain the compliance standards, enhance collaboration, and better adaptation to the changing requirements. So these below, I will show the phases of the chosen methodology, which is Agile Waterfall Hybrid. So the first phase is the waterfall strategize. So this is a planning phase where the strategies and the plans of the system will be documented and discussed, followed by waterfall analysis. And so waterfall analysis is for us to elicit the requirements. So appointment is made with the stakeholder of the system, and also interview, and also the questionnaire is used to elicit the requirements for this module. Then to the waterfall design, so the technical solution of the problem set out by the product's requirements, scenarios, layouts, and the modules will be documented is in the SDD. So followed by the agile implementation. So the functions of the INVIGILATOR appointment system will be broken down into small parts and will be equally divided to each iteration of the system. So the development process will be started based on the Gantt chart plan. So for the change analysis, the SRS and the SCD will be redesigned and to reflect the improvements and in the development system as well as the new features. So then we will revise my SRS and SDD. Then the system tuning and adjustment. So the system will be updated, modified, and redeveloped based on the changes made. And also in the meantime, the Gantt chart will be updated. So lastly, the system will be tested. So the black box testing is suitable, and the suitable user acceptance testing will be developed. So the testing will be performed by the stakeholders, and the functionalities and the usability of the system will be focused on during this phase to ensure all the build features are met to the needs of stakeholders. So at this phase, the software test documentation will be produced, and the feedbacks. So the software requirements for these modules is a text editor, a web browser, some library framework, and software development perform, and which is a Visual Studio Code, Google Chrome, React, Node and Express, and MongoDB. For the hardware requirements, it requires to use laptop for use for the system development, testing, and system displaying and debugging. Summary, requirement, analysis, and design. So the requirement elicitations. So as mentioned before, in order to gather the requirements and opinions of the stakeholders, an interview and a survey were conducted. So for the survey, a questionnaire is constructed and respondents are limited to the objectives of the school to perform indicators or appointment tasks, which are the exam secretary and school principal of the school. So the questionnaire is constructed using the Carnot model. So furthermore, an interview is conducted with the stakeholder of the whole system using the Google Meet. So the question is prepared so to make clarification with the stakeholders regarding the current system manual and the problems concerns of the stakeholders. So this is a use case diagram. So we have 10 use cases for the indicator module, and this is a system architecture. And the system architecture we implemented for this system is MVC, which the view is all of the interfaces, and the model is a database, and the controller is the tools to interact for the interface to interact with the model. And this is the design, the technology used. So as you can see in the client side, we will be using React to build the front end, and it will use the RESTful API to communicate with the backend service, which is developed using a Node.js and Express.js. Then the backend server will communicate with the MongoDB database and send the data back to the front end, which is the client side. So summary of system implementation and testing. So the developer environment. So first we need to install the Node.js and npm. So it is a runtime environment which contains and includes everything that we need to execute a program written in JavaScript Node.js. So Node.js is used to run server-side scripts that render content before it's sent to the web browser. And npm is a Node package manager, and it's a tool and a repository for creating and sharing JavaScript code. So next, we need to install the Visual Studio Code, and it's a source editor, and it's a free open source text editor, and includes powerful features that could increase the efficiency. So system development. So there are 3 parts of the system development. The first part is the database development. So this is the database that we hold on the MongoDB Atlas. So as you can see, this is the database, and these are all the tables. And this is the definition of a table exam center data, and this is the schema that we have to include it in our backend service. So these two has to be matched. So this is the data development. So followed by the front-end development. As you can see, this is the code for us to get the data from the front end to get the data with the back end. We can fetch the experience, we can fetch the assignment task, and this is all of the elements we use to display. This is the code that we display the elements. So this is an example of the front-end development. So as you can see, everything is we can get the experience of teacher. This is the code. So back-end development. So as we are using the RESTful API, so the front end can call the controller to get the data from the database. So this is the code for the front end. We can call the RESTful API HTTP request. So as you can see, we follow the pattern. Then this is the routes, and from here, the request called by the front end will be sent to the routes, and the routes will route the request to the controller. Then the controller will go to and get data and send it back to the front end. So this is the RESTful API we have implemented for the backend development. So system testing. There are two system testing. The first is a black box testing. So the black box testing is a software testing method that involves testing the functionalities of a software applications without knowing the internal code structure, implementation details, or internal routes. It focuses on the input and the output of the software application, and it is totally driven by the software requirements and specifications. So this is an example of the black box testing. And so far, all of the test cases are tested to be success, and the actual result of the test case are same as the expected result. So these are the expected result. We test based on different inputs, and we match we see does the actual result of this test case match the expected result. User acceptance testing, UAT. So user acceptance testing is a type of testing performed by the customer or the end user of the system verifies, accepts the software system before it is moved to the production environment. Yeah, so this is UAT. So this is the task for the end user to perform during a UAT. So the first one is login, followed by register account, and all of the tasks is listed here. And the UAT is conducted using a Zoom, which is an online meeting, and is recorded. And the date for the UAT is 17th of June 2022. So the flow start with, we will brief on the user what is user acceptance testing. Then the user will be required to fill in a demographic questionnaire. Then the user will start to do UAT on the invigilator assignment based on exam center module. Then after that, the system will fill in a system usability questionnaire and give feedback during the discussion section. So this is the demographic data of the user, which the data has experience of using computer for more than 10 years, and the operating system that he is familiar with is Windows, and he rate himself familiar with the operating system, and the skill is he rate himself as an expert. So there are 13 tasks in the UAT, and all of the tasks are completed within 3 minutes, which means the user, the participant, can complete all of the tasks and followed by the instructions are careful in a very quick way. So this is the SUS questionnaire. This is a template. This is a template we can get from the SUS questionnaire online, and based on this, we get the result. So this SUS is to test the system usability. So according to the result according to the result of the questionnaire we receive filled in by the participant. So we get the score for this invigilator appointment based on exam center. It get a score of 92.5, which is at the grade A, and it is excellent. So which means the system is highly usable and can be easily understand and can be easily be do by the user. So conclusion of the project. So first we talk about the project limitation and constraint. So the invigilator appointment based on the exam center module is only available in English version. This is the first limitation, and followed by the mobile application of invigilator appointment based on exam center module is not available because this is only a web application. It can be accessed by the mobile using the web browsers. So the last one is a dashboard of the invigilator appointment based on exam center module cannot be customized. So the achievement of the project objectives. So the first objective is fulfilled as all the requirements are elicited, gathered, and analyzed completely, and the result is documented in software requirement specification SRS. Furthermore, the second objective is also fulfilled as the architecture models, database of the system, and user interface of invigilator appointment based on exam center module are designed based on the user's requirements elicited and documented in software design document SDD. So the third objective is also achieved by successfully deploying the web application of the invigilator appointment based on exam center module on the cloud server. So the last objective, which is a plan and test, the system is also fulfilled by testing the system with the black box testing and also user acceptance testing. So this is all from me, and this is my PSM2 presentation. My name is Lim Wei Han. Thank you.